Happy Monday. How are y'all doing today? I done walked for an hour. Woohoo. But I came to share a message today. And God is really moving in this season. I just shared on a previous post the power of prayer. Learn God's voice. And God spoke to me this morning. He said, every table is not meant for you to sit at. Sometimes when somebody says, oh, you can have this seat, nah, I'd rather stand because I'm not about to sit in no mess. In this season, you got to stop sitting in mess. You got to say, nah, I'm going to wait on another table. You got to stop letting the enemy feed you what you don't eat. And no shade. I don't eat no chitlins, so stop eating the enemy's chitlins. Please. We sit there, let the enemy put that stuff on your plate. Oh, just put some hot sauce on it. No, sir. Because I know what flows through there. And guess what? I don't want it. So when the enemy comes and say, oh, I'm going to put you got anxiety. You're never going to make it. Oh, they walked out on you. You used to smoke drugs. Guess what? And so, in the power of prayer, I say I had to learn in this season. Pray like never before. God said, ask in my name. If it lines up with his will, guess what? It's going to be done. We got to stop tiptoeing with the enemy. And we got to stand 10 toes down in this season, okay? When I learned the greatest thing this weekend at this conference, moving forward on purpose, she said, you got to use that Bible as a mirror. So when the enemy comes, you got to say, okay, all right, he trying to get in your head. Nah, it ain't happening. Oh, your child is now you not having my kids because I'm gonna pray like never before. I ain't got time to talk to you about power, and it's kind of good, but I got to in this season. You got to have people around you that, hey, I'm struggling. They pray for me, and please believe. Make sure they are using that A instead of the E. Okay, and you got to learn how to pray sometimes for yourself because you know what you send up to God. You know what you send up to God, and it ain't no right way or wrong way. It's like God. It's like talking like, God, I need help. When the first time I surrendered and I was growing, I was like, I cried. I said, God, I can't do it. I need help. Help me. And he started removing people. He started letting me see things that hurt me, but it was healing me. So in this season, stop playing with the enemy. Stand 10 toes down on God's word and the enemy neck at the same time. Because kids, we're losing our children. That's our future. You have to get self-control because some things we got to learn like it ain't worth it. Oh, I'm mad. I'm about to go light this up. But you know what I did this morning? I sat in the bed and I said, you know what? I know God is being so good to me. He just spared my child life. So I know the enemy going to try to come because he's going to do his job. He couldn't stop you when you were born. Guess what? He going to try to stop your purpose. You got a mouth for a reason. If you can't talk, guess what? God, sign language, send a smoke signal. Like, not the day enemy, you know? So I sat there and I said, you know what? Let me keep one in the clip for the enemy today. So I say, you know what? I put the one in the clip, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Right? Jeremiah 1:5 said, I knew you before you were born. I set you apart before I placed you in your mother's womb. I appointed you over nations. You are wonderfully and fearfully made. So I got my gun locked and loaded for the enemy. Because I know where the mind go, the body will follow. So if I'm not about to sit, you call me like, what we gonna do about it? My homegirl called me this morning and say, listen, she did this, he did this. I said, you know what? Forget that. What we gonna do? We gonna pray about it and we know how the enemy coming today. So let me tell you something today. You gotta get hood with the enemy. You gotta be ready to slay in this season. You gotta be ready to speak against and don't receive what's not for you, okay? And that's life. Yeah, I done cried before. I done laid in my tears. But guess what? God said, what you gonna do about it? God said, and he taught us in school when we were babies. He said, I was subtract, divide, add, and multiply. What'd he say? You got this. Free cake of the day. You got this. Let's go. Get you some people in your life that's gonna add fuel to your fire. Like, yo, we praying today, we fasting today, what we doing? We creating businesses today. We ain't got to talk about, like, one of my friends told me the greatest thing. He said, man, I ain't got time to talk about that. I don't got time for myself. Like, God is moving. We ain't got time for destruction in this season. You see these storms? We standing 10 toes down today, all right?